Speaker Nancy Pelosi now plans to move forward with a new spending bill. This past Sunday, House Speaker Pelosi said that the U.S. Democrats will not back down on President Biden's sweeping infrastructure goals.
Democratic lawmakers in Congress are reportedly pushing for that. The relief checks should continue to roll out to Americans until the end of the pandemic.
Let's figure out what we can agree on infrastructure. Let's see if we can come to a reasonable amount of money to get that work done. But I have no intention of abandoning the rest of my vision.
And we also agreed to take important steps that are going to support global economic recovery by laying the foundation for an equitable global economy.
Now folks, Nancy Pelosi is signaling process for a scaled back bipartisan proposal that was recently unveiled in the Senate. So yeah guys, we have a lot of news to cover in today's video. But first, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. On this channel, I will always provide you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check news.
That benefits the top 1% and the biggest corporations in this country is going to have to come from somewhere. And there has been a lot of talk about doing it on the backs of our seniors in terms of cutting Social Security benefits. And as far as I'm concerned, never on my watch will that happen. That you work hard, that you pay into this system, and that it would be there for you.
But now everybody, you have to know this. President Biden has set his sights on a sweeping infrastructure bill that would both revamp the nation's roads and bridges, as well as boost spending on services, including healthcare and education. The Republicans reject the idea that those latter priorities even qualify for the label of infrastructure. In addition, there's a bipartisan group of 10 Senate moderates on Thursday that reached a deal for an infrastructure plan that a source familiar said will cost $974 billion over 5 years. It includes $579 billion in new spending. That was well below Biden's current proposal of $1.7 trillion, and it was unclear if it would gather enough support to pass the 50-50 Senate. On CNN, Nancy Pelosi said this: "If this bipartisan plan is something that can be agreed upon, I don't know how we can possibly sell it unless we know that there is more to come. Biden has no intention of abandoning the rest of his vision." Pelosi appeared to be hinting at a scenario in which Congress passes a bipartisan infrastructure bill and Democrats then follow through with a second spending measure using a process called reconciliation, which bypasses Senate rules requiring 60 votes to advance most legislation in the 100-seat chamber. Senator Susan Collins, a Republican member of the group that unveiled the new proposal on Thursday, said that plan sticks to spending on physical infrastructure like roads and bridges, and she said she personally had been an advocate for home health care, but said it could be considered separately. Susan Collins told CBS this: "We can look at these issues, but they are not infrastructure, and they should be considered separately, and I believe they will be." Many Republicans question whether care for the elderly and children should be funded by the government, especially at the level that Biden wants. Biden initially proposed $400 billion for elderly and disabled care, and another $200 billion for child care. What do you think about this, everybody? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. The Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, has said that while Democrats are seeking a bipartisan infrastructure deal, they are also pursuing reconciliation. And such a move, however, would require Democrats to be united, and that could pose another challenge, with party members like Senator Joe Manchin saying he does not want to see the process abused. Susan Collins told CBS that the bipartisan infrastructure plan will be partly paid for by unspent funds previously appropriated for dealing with the crisis. She said that there's literally hundreds of billions of dollars in the pipeline, and Senate Democrat Kirsten Sinema has become one of the leading moderates willing to work outside traditional leadership channels on issues like infrastructure. On the latter issue, she launched her own talks with Republicans led by Utah Senator Mitt Romney to form a 10-senator working group. Sinema and West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin are the two most prominent Democrats to get bipartisan plans and pursue bipartisan legislation on virtually every front. Manchin in particular has repeatedly said he would not agree to spend more. He would not agree to upend Senate rules to make it easier for Democrats to act on their own. I just really hope that lawmakers in Congress will soon come to an agreement on infrastructure very soon. The IRS announced last month that the enhanced child tax credit will take the form of monthly payments to parents, which will start in July, but some parents might want to opt out of it. The monthly payments the monthly payments would translate into approximately $250 to $300 for parents. According to CNET, reasons that parents might want to opt out include if you'd rather have a one-time large payment next year, if you know your circumstances will change and don't want to deal with updating information in the portal that the IRS opens on July 1st. Now, CNET also warns that Americans who opt out of receiving monthly child tax credits from July through December will not get a full payment or any payment at all until after the IRS processes the 2021 tax return next. Thank you for your support, everybody. I truly appreciate it. And until next time, have a great day and stay safe. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a like for more videos just like this.
On another issue, another topic, when the pandemic was first declared in March of last year, we entered a world of uncertainty. We were confronted with reality that our schools and our workplaces were going to be shut down in the foreseeable future. Family gatherings and get-togethers were going to be restrained, and our favorite places for relaxing and fun, restaurants and stores, were basically closed. But amid all these uncertainties, one thing remained constant and dependable: our domestic food supply. Despite the disruptions, panic buying, supply chain bottlenecks that arose during the pandemic, our domestic food supply remained fundamentally intact every step of the way. Over the past year, most of us have had the assurance when we stopped at the grocery store, there was plenty of food for our family. And when grocery store shelves started to run empty, we could always trust that more food was on the way, because farmers were doing their job and distributors of food supply were doing the same. It goes to show that thanks to American agriculture, we're blessed by abundance. And as we've come together to commend the courageous doctors, nurses, and other frontline workers who've cared for our loved ones, there's another group of essential workers who have toiled alongside our farmers and ranchers to keep our families fed: farm workers. I'm sure most Americans know very little about the farm workers who supply the food we eat every day. In Illinois, we have 20,000 of these farm workers. They plant, harvest, pick our state's most lucrative crops. And across the country, we have about 2.5 million farm workers. Roughly half of these 2.5 million are undocumented. These undocumented farm workers are part of our communities, and many are parents of American children. But despite the essential work they do to keep our families fed, their second-class status in America means that they are often subject to harassment, untenable working conditions, substandard housing, and they live under a constant threat of deportation. Earlier this month, the Guardian News Service published a piece on the working and living conditions